One. We are live.
Okay. So this is Senate Government Operations. It is Thursday, May 6th, and we are going to take up the H435 right now. And so what I would ask is, Ameren, you have a markup, a draft here for us to go through, right? Would you take us through there? And I will tell, I don't know if we're having the same problems today, but yesterday we did have some problems with our connection. So if we go off, we will cease our business until we get back on YouTube. Okay, just to let people know. So Ameren.
Thank you. Ameren Abergele, Legislative Counsel. I am looking at draft 1.1 of H435 that's posted to the committee's website. This is a draft strike all amendment for H435. This includes both the markup changes that the committee reviewed yesterday in just a markup copy of the as passed by House version, as well as some additional changes that the committee requested yesterday after testimony. So beginning on page 1, you'll see section 1 was deleted. This was in the markup version as well. Moving on to page 2, you'll see some of the changes from the markup version, changing the number of commission members to 9, specifying that it's 2 formerly incarcerated individuals who resided at different facilities rather than 1 formerly incarcerated individual. And then adding a former employee of a Vermont Community Justice Center appointed by the Community Justice Network of Vermont. On page 3, this is in the powers and duties of the, yes.
I'm going to ask us to, as we go through them, so that we, if there's any comments on those so far. Committee, Senator Clarkson.
So at the bottom, Ameren, I guess I'm a little puzzled. At the bottom of page 2, you still have, I'm on the marked up copy, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to be on? No. No. Sorry. What are we supposed to be on? Otherwise it was just, I thought you said it was draft 2 point something and all I have is draft 1 point something today.
So, and I don't know whether you need to refresh your page. There was a version from yesterday that was on the web page earlier today that says markup, but you want the one that says draft.
I just asked if you was markup the right thing to be looking.
It is not the right thing. Markup was posted, but we have since posted draft 1.1 of H435.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Great. So, okay, great. Terrific. Thanks. Because you've answered my question, which is at the bottom of page 2, you have it appointed by the Community Justice Network, which we did identify. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry for the confusion. There's a lot of drafts floating around these days.
Well, yeah.
So moving on to page 3, in subsection C, there is a new subdivision 2 in here. This was in response to the committee's request that I draft language assigning to the commission the the task of examining facility staffing needs, employee retention, employee working conditions, and employee morale. And as part of the discussion, there was comments about the commission being able to interview current staff and potentially individuals in custody at the department. So I will just read this first and then there will be time for questions. So subdivision 2. Examine facility staffing needs, employee retention, employee working conditions, and employee morale. The commission may interview current department employees and individuals in the custody of the department, review exit interview records for former department employees, and meet with the Vermont State Employees Association to further the commission's understanding of these issues. The commission shall report annually on or before January 15th to the Commissioner of Corrections, the Secretary of Human Services, and the House Committee on Corrections and Institutions, and the Senate Committee on Judiciary. And this is on, the report would be on the following things. Subdivision A, the department's progress in improving staffing retention, working conditions, and employee morale over the year. B, the largest barriers to further improvement in staffing retention, working conditions, and morale. And C, any recommendations for improving employee retention, working conditions, and morale, including identifying any efforts undertaken in other states that could be implemented at the department.
I only have one suggestion, that the report should also come to House and Senate GovOps, because we're the state employees committee. Senator Clarkson, did you? Oh, and Senator Pline, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. At the very top, it says examine facility staffing needs. That means facility in the plural sense, meaning we're not just focusing on the one correctional facility.
That facility as an adjective.
Right. Okay. So that's what I thought. I just want to be clear.
Senator Collmore, are you okay with this?
I'm fine with it.
Senator Clarkson? Okay, Senator Ram?
Yes, I am. I hope you can hear me. My internet is acting up today.
We can hear you. Thank you. So can I make sure that this language is okay with the commissioner and with BSEA? Commissioner?
I'm good, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
It looks good to me, Senator. Thank you very much.
Anybody else want to weigh in? Representative Coffey? I know you're not a member of the committee, but we're a pretty open committee.
That's great. I think that looks great. It reflects your discussion yesterday. So thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ameren.
On this
Yes.
section, it's always good to know that another committee member has the same question I asked Ameren last night in emails about the word facility. It always makes you feel good that, you know, you're not the only one with the same question. Thank you, Anthony.
The same silly question.
No, in this case, it wasn't a silly question and it wasn't a silly answer. So,
Good.
And you
Okay.
really made me feel like I wasn't silly either.
okay. So Ameren, do you want to continue?
I will continue. So on page 4, let's see, I renumbered the subdivisions 2 and 3 to be 3 and 4. In subdivision E, I added the phrase at the women's facility regarding the reporting hotline. Any comments on that before I continue?
I think that was, yeah, just to be clear. Yeah.
And I actually have a question about that, which might be for the commissioner. I mean, I'm imagining that somewhere in the facility, there's this telephone that's just sitting there that an inmate could pick up at any point and make this call.
That's correct, Senator.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it seems it's good. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. Ameren, you're muted.
I was muted.
Okay.
On page 5, and I should mention, so this is, we're now in subdivision 3, which is where the commission is to monitor the department in the following areas. And there is the new subdivision G that was in the markup, which is to monitor the department in terms of facility staffing needs, employee retention, and employees' working conditions and morale. And so this is in addition to the annual reporting on those staffing issues and the working conditions issues. This is just general monitoring over time. And then you'll see in subdivision 4 that at the request of the committee, rather than having an annual report, this was just changed to the commission reporting annually. And since we have added the facility staffing needs, employee retention, and employees' working conditions, I think maybe I should add the government operations committees into this report as well. Does that make sense to the committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Is everybody okay with this then? The way this reads?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And moving down all the way to page 7 in subsection C, this is about implementing the terms of the members of the commission. see the Defender General is appointing the 2 members, one for a 1-year term and one for a 3-year term. These are the 2 formerly incarcerated individuals.
Okay with that? Everybody?
Yep.
Okay,
And then on page 8, you'll see the addition of the former employee of the Vermont Community Justice Center. I always want to say criminal justice community. Will be appointed for a 1-year initial term, and then everyone will be on a 3-year term after that.
thank you.
Okay, so then moving into section 5, this is the section on the Department of Corrections, specifically the Corrections Investigative Unit. There was discussion yesterday about what is the overall purpose of this unit compared to other units. I did clarify the language slightly in the intro here, rather than saying the purpose of the CIU is to investigate the following, and instead this now reads, the CIU shall investigate the following topics to comply with federal law. That's specifically around the PREA allegations, and to identify systemic issues within the department.
So let me make sure that that language is okay with everybody. I think that it makes it clear here that this is not aimed at personnel, that this is a systems review. Senator Collmore? Clarkson? Polina?
Okay.
Okay, and Senator Ram?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I saw your thumb up there. Commissioner Baker?
I'm good, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
Looks good, Senator.
Thank you. Okay. We can move on. I just want to make sure as we're going through this that we're okay with it, so we don't have to keep coming back to sections.
All right. Excuse me. Moving on to page 9, there is some new language. There's a new subsection D and a new subsection E moving from page 9 to 10. This is based on the requested language from VSEA. I have modified this with assistance from Damien to for the language to better match with our statutory terminology. So this is slightly, I should say this is slightly different from what VSEA proposed, but I believe the substance remains the same. So subsection D, employee rights. An employee who is subject to questioning or investigation by the CIU shall be entitled to all procedural and substantive rights afforded to the employee by state and federal law and any applicable collective bargaining agreement or employment contract, including any contractual rights that apply to proceedings or investigations that may result in an adverse employment action. 2, information gathered by the CIU in the course of an investigation shall be subject to discovery pursuant to the applicable rules of the Vermont Labor Relations Board or a court of competent jurisdiction as appropriate. And then subsection E, collective bargaining. Nothing in this section shall be construed to limit the right of the state and the employee organization to collectively bargain with respect to matters related to investigations and employee discipline that are not otherwise controlled by statute.
So I'm going to ask, before I ask committee members about this, I'm going to ask the commissioner and VSEA if this language does what we talked about yesterday, which is make it clear that this isn't a personnel issue, and if it results in people being investigated, that these are the rights that they have. So Commissioner?
Yeah, thank you, Senator. Actually, since that language was touched up by the Ledge Council, it's actually, I'm a little more comfortable. I was a little uncomfortable around the original language, around discovery issues. There are certain things that we come across in what I envision this unit doing, such as a death investigation. We do third-party reviews of our medical care. That third-party review is protected. But this language helps clear it up, because I think the intent is that VSEA, if something came up in an investigation that led to opening up a personnel action, they're looking to be able to make sure that we provide them the documents. That's what I'm reading into this. And I certainly have no problems with that at all.
Thank you. Thank you. Steve?
I think I'm okay. I'm just looking at the change to collectively bargain with respect to matters related to investigations and employee discipline that are not otherwise controlled by statute. And we had originally said including discipline up to and including termination.
Well, I would,
Yeah, my interpretation, Steve, was that discipline includes something up to and including termination. So, and I think when you're writing something that protects the employee rights here, I think you would interpret it to kind of give it that intent. I think if we specifically wanted to exclude termination, I think we would just we would say that. But otherwise, employee discipline, I mean, by its nature, is that multi-step process where the final step is termination of the employee. So.
I think I'm okay, Madam Chair.
okay. Well, if you think differently in a little while, we can come back to it. But for right now, I think our committee members okay with it?
All set here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to move on, Mamrin.
All right, moving on to page 11. I amended the language that was in the markup to specify that the proposal of the Criminal Justice Council shall address the relationship between the councils and the Corrections Investigative Unit's scope of investigative authority. That previously said state agencies.
Everybody okay with that? Okay. Oh,
and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Can we, where are we now? It seems that everybody has agreed with every change that we've made. Do we have other changes that we needed to make? And I will say that given our conversation yesterday around the retention bonus and putting something in here about that, I think it's both more effective and might get some action faster if there's action to be taken in a letter than in the bill itself, and not to put it in the bill itself. And I've been working on composing a letter. I've got it kind of handwritten and scribbled on little pieces of paper, and we'll get that out to everybody. But that doesn't have to happen today, while the passage of this bill, I believe, does have to happen today. So I just wanted to let you know that I was working on that, and will, in the letter, the thrust of it is to point out the situation that exists right now that has been brought to us both by the commissioner and VSEA and others, and ask that support be given to the commissioner in the if he needs additional support to change the morale and to change the systems that need to be changed, because he's working hard at it, but he might need more support. And then just mention that that could include something as like renegotiating for a retention bonus, but didn't say that they should do that, but use that as an example of what could happen. So that's the direction the letter is taking, and I will send it to everybody. So where are we with this bill? Senator Colomar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think putting it in the bill is what we need to do. We can look at the letter as you finish drafting it. So I don't think there's anything more in this bill we need to do.
Senator Rom.
Yeah, I just wanted people to see I'm here, but I feel like I'm not coming through well. But yes, I feel good about where the bill is.
And remember, section 6 is still in here, right? We didn't look at that again because we didn't make any changes. That section 6 is the sexual, it isn't sexual assault, but it's the what do we call it? The sexual exploitation of a person under the supervision of the Department of Corrections. That's the title of the section. And we didn't make any changes to that. And it also, I believe, is going into another bill just in case something happens with this bill.
That's the one that Judiciary is looking at.
Yes, Judiciary looked at it and they are putting it potentially into the consent bill. Just so that we make sure that this section lives on, if nothing else does at this date. So, Senator Polina, where are you with this bill?
I'm okay.
Okay. Senator Clarkson? Are you with us?
Allison is with you now.
Okay.
What am I doing? Sorry, the pro tem had to chat with me. I apologize.
Uh-oh. It's called to the principal's office, huh?
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't have to leave the room. Well, I did sort of leave the room. I apologize. What are we doing?
We are finding out whether we're okay with this bill or whether there's anything else that we need to do.
I am fine with this bill.
Okay. And Senator, I think, did I ask everybody? I forget now.
I sort of heard my name and I realized I'd better get my body back in gear.
Okay. So I'm going to now ask the commissioner if he feels okay with this bill.
Senator, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for everybody's work. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And Steve?
Senator, I like this bill much better than the form that it came to you in, and I think there's a lot of improvements to it. The only note I would make, and this is not for any changes to this bill, but in the discussion about retirement, the language that's in that bill about addressing the corrections retirement benefit, that and the retention bonus are essential components to beginning to fix what has been a decades-long problem on staffing.
Yep, and there is specific language in the retirement bill to work with corrections.
But otherwise, I think the bill is much improved.
All right. So with that, do we have a motion?
I would.
Go ahead, Senator Clarkson.
I would move that we amend H 435 with draft 1.2. 1.1. Thank you.
Ameren has her hand up.
The only thing I will mention is that you wanted me to add in the government operations committees into those report requirements.
Can't that just part of 1.1? Does it have to?
Can that'll be a different draft, but what will it be? Will it be 1.2 or 2.1?
It will be, it would be.
I never know how you guys do that.
Since it's a committee request to change, I would probably change this to 2.1.
Okay.
2.1 with those,
Okay.
But that's the only change.
Yes.
Okay.
I would.
All right.
Okay, I would move that we amend H 435 with draft 2.1.
Okay, thank you. Senator Ram, are you ready to?
Yes, if I'm cutting out, just have someone else do the roll, but
Okay.
here I go. Senator Clarkson,
Yes.
Senator Collmore,
Yes.
Senator Polina,
Yeah, yes.
myself, Senator Ram, yes, Senator White.
Yes.
And that passes.
Okay. Now, Senator Clarkson, would you like to make another motion?
Absolutely. I would do a follow-up motion. I would move that we pass out H435 as amended favorably.
Great.
Okay.
Senator Clarkson,
Yes.
Senator Collmore,
Yes.
Senator Polina,
Yes.
myself, Senator Ram, yes, Senator White,
Yes.
and that passes 500.
And Senator Polina, do you have a yen to report this bill?
I think I could do that with some guidance from Ameren.
Yeah. She's spending all her guidance with me on 289.
She's,
All right.
she can multitask.
She can.
All
We're hoping.
right. Great. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
And Sarah Coffey, thank you for your good work, and Commissioner.
Yep.
Thank
And
you, folks.
Steve, nice work.
Thank you. Thank you all for your work on this. This is wonderful that you were able to do this. I know there's been a lot going on in your committee, so really appreciate it. Thank you. And it's been fun being a visitor.
We've loved having you. And Commissioner, may I just say that it's still wonderful to have you with us on an interim basis. I hope we'll have you for even longer. But I really appreciate all that you've done to try and improve the culture in corrections, all that you've done to work on these issues that we've addressed in this bill. And I think we always forget to say thank you. And all of us, I think the entire legislature has been aware of your leadership and grateful for your presence.
Senator, I appreciate that, but I don't want to lose the fact that I should have started my comments earlier, because when I was in House Commerce this morning, this week is National Corrections and Corrections Officers Week. And I put a message out to the staff today. Their grit, their courage, their dedication in the past year is something to be marveled at. And I just happen to be selected to sit in the chair I do. I get to lead them every day. And I know we have our differences sometimes, but the work they do is incredible under very trying circumstances. And we're celebrating their good work this week with a bunch of events around the state, to include a raffle to have a free lunch with the commissioner. So
Can we enter?
Absolutely. The commissioner is going to be on the hook for about 15 lunches. I'm going to have to get my allowance from my wife to be able to pay for it. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for your support. Your kind words.
We all
Good,
echo
Commissioner.
Senator Clarkson's comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, folks.
All right, thank you.
Have a
And
great
you made
afternoon.
your deadline. You had to
Thank you.
leave by a quarter of, and you're
That's it.
Oh,
I
my
appreciate
God,
it.
minutes early.
to spare.
Thank you.
So, Ameren, you will get the clean copy to Senator Polina, and then he'll send it up.
Yes, I will include Gail also so that it can be posted.
Great.
Uh,
Thank you.
H289 has been sent to finance.
Which one is that?
Our
OPR.
OPR bill.
Oh,
Oh, because they have those fees in there.
Fees
That's-
and licenses and all sorts of good things. Yes.
No, but I think fees is why it went to finance, right?
Correct.
That's so silly. But anyway,
Well, it's not silly for Ameren and me. It's great.
does this
All
bill that
right.
just remind me, does this bill that we're just voting out, the corrections bill, does that include the per diems and stuff? Is that gonna have to go to appropriations for the
no, there's
commission?
no committee.
Okay.
Oh, for the commission?
Yeah, I
For
was
the
just wondering.
commission,
Does the commission have
Probably not.
I
I'll
didn't
double
think
check.
we talked about per diems.
we
Did-
didn't. Ameren did.
It is in here.
Members of the commission shall be entitled to receive per diem compensation and reimbursement for expenses in accordance with 32 VSCA. BSA.
Well, what we might do is just have Jane look at it and ask, and it's not going to be that much. So she didn't take the retirement bill, even though there were per diems in there for the commission, the oversight committee, or that didn't start for a year, but for the task force. So she didn't take that because the amount was so small, because there's no real appropriations in here,
Right.
but I'll send it to her just to make sure that it's okay. And I would assume this comes out of the corrections budget.
Right, because also it expires in 2025, so it's only a couple of years. It doesn't say how many times they'll meet or anything like that.
Yeah. But it does come out of the corrections budget, I think, since it's
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll send it to her just to make sure.
When I entered the legislature, the corrections budget was, I'm wanting to say 60 or 70 million dollars a year. It is now, what is it this year? About 120 million, if not more. It's incredible how it's grown.
But the number of people incarcerated have actually gone down. So some of it is issues with facilities that are inefficient and require more staff and more.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is one of those budgets that has grown at a rapid rate. Probably, anyway, it would be interesting to.
I think every agency in Vermont has grown.
yes.
I don't think there's a single agency that hasn't got a bigger budget now than it did 20 years ago.
Well, and it should. I mean, just if you even just adjusted for inflation, it would have a bigger budget. If you didn't make any changes or do anything innovative or anything else, there would be bigger budgets.
No, but it's substantially bigger. Anyway.
As has our education budget.
Absolutely.
This is true.
Yeah, that's the one that bothers me. Anyway. All right, so let me see what time we are scheduled to.
Can we
check?
take?
Not until 2:30, Madam Chair.
Oh,
And I've just sent a notice to the people who look like they'll be coming to this afternoon's discussion to let them know that we're starting as soon as we can convene everyone.
It's 1:36 according to my little computer.
Yep.
If we can get people, we did tell people that we really didn't know what time we would be starting.
Right.
And that if possible, they could just kind of be on hold. So if we can get people here earlier, we did hear from Carol that she will not be here at all. The two Carols.
Neither will Rick Holshoe.
Right. So really it's
Or Doug
Michael and Judy and Susan, and I'm not sure Doug will join us again, but let's see if we can get back together we'll take
at 2?
yeah, that's all. That's a
We can
20-minute.
Well, and
Is that,
Michael Chernick.
yeah, I did say Michael.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm corresponding with him right now, so whatever you say, I will let him know.
So do we want to take that long a break, or do we want to try to start earlier and end earlier?
If people are available, let's do it as early as possible, as long as we get like a 5 or 10 minute.
Let's
stretch.
take a 10-minute break and see if we can come back and see if people are here. Okay.
Perfect.
Oiki. Okay.